Chapter 4. The New World. Breaking through the thick veil of fog, the expedition vehicle emerged from the tunnel into a world that seemed plucked from a dream. The mist slowly dissipated, unveiling a breathtaking panorama. Endless rolling grasslands stretching into a dense forest of towering trees, and beyond, a majestic range of snow-capped mountains. The sky was a vivid azure, with clouds that glowed faintly, hinting at the mysterious energy field they'd detected. Captain Rudy Jenkins stood at the front of the vehicle, a mixture of awe and determination etched on his face. "Welcome to the New World," he declared, his voice resonating through the vehicle. "Let's get to work." At this moment, the three androids came to meet the expedition team and reported about the things they'd observed before the expedition team arrived. Although brief, it gave them a simple understanding of their surroundings. The team quickly disembarked, each member springing into action to ensure their safety and success in this uncharted territory. The military personnel secured the perimeter, weapons ready, while the scientists began setting up their equipment to analyze the environment. Androids Sophia and Jet efficiently unloaded supplies and established a temporary base. Felix Bauer, the environmental scientist, inhaled deeply. "The air is incredibly clean, with high oxygen levels. The plant life here is extraordinarily diverse. This place is a botanist's paradise." Jelani Bankol, the biochemist, was equally enthusiastic. "The energy readings are off the charts. We need to collect samples and identify the source. This could revolutionize our understanding of energy and biology." Charlotte Bailey, the survival guide, was already examining the flora and fauna. "Stay alert, everyone. We don't know what kind of wildlife we might encounter here. This place may look like paradise, but it could be hiding predators." Suddenly, the vehicle's radar, which had previously malfunctioned, began to beep steadily. Jean Hayashi, the team's technician, checked the readings. "Captain, the radar's picking up something, a large structure, about 2 clicks north." Captain Rudy nodded. "All right, team, let's move out. Stay together and keep your eyes peeled." Proceeding cautiously, the team navigated through the grasslands and into the forest. The trees were enormous, their trunks as wide as houses, and their branches intertwined to form a natural canopy. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting dappled shadows on the ground. Abruptly, Astrid Fisher, the master sergeant, raised her hand, signaling for the team to halt. She pointed to a clearing ahead, where a massive stone structure loomed. It was the door Georgia had reported, 20 feet tall, intricately carved with symbols and designs that seemed to pulse with an inner light. "This is it," Georgia said, her synthetic voice tinged with curiosity and caution. "The door. It looks like it hasn't been opened in centuries." Felix stepped forward, examining the carvings. "These symbols, they're unlike anything I've seen before. They seem to depict some kind of story or warning." Jelani nodded, her eyes scanning the door. "And the energy readings are strongest here. Whatever's behind this door could be the key to understanding this world's energy." Captain Rudy turned to the team. "All right, people, let's figure out how to open this thing. Stay alert and be ready for anything." As they worked to decipher the carvings and unlock the door, the atmosphere grew tense with anticipation. The unknown loomed before them, both thrilling and terrifying. Each member knew that beyond this door lay the potential for the greatest discovery of their lives, or the greatest danger. Finally, Jean found a mechanism hidden within the carvings. With a few precise movements, he activated it, and the ground trembled as the massive door slowly began to open. A gust of cool air rushed out, carrying with it the scent of ancient stone and mystery. A new team was made to explore the unknown structure. The team consisted of the captain, Astrid, Taylor, Ahmad, Issa, Jean, Felix, Charlotte, Jelani, and the android Georgia. The team stood at the threshold, peering into the darkness beyond. Captain Rudy took a deep breath and stepped forward. "All right, team. Let's see what secrets this new world holds." With weapons drawn and senses heightened, the newly formed team ventured into the unknown, ready to face whatever lay ahead. The adventure had truly begun. As the last member of the team stepped through the massive stone door, it groaned ominously and began to close behind them. Jean turned back, his eyes widening in alarm. "Captain, the door's closing." They all rushed towards the entrance, but it was too late. The door was sealed shut with a resounding thud, trapping them inside. The only light now came from their equipment and the faint glow of the symbols etched into the stone walls. "Stay calm," Captain Rudy ordered, his voice steady. "We'll find another way out. Let's focus on what's in front of us." They turned to face the vast, dimly lit labyrinth that stretched out before them. The walls were covered in ancient carvings, and the polished stone floor reflected their torchlight in a ghostly sheen. The air was cool and still, carrying a faint, metallic scent. Charlotte stepped forward, her eyes scanning the labyrinth. "This place looks ancient. We need to mark our path to avoid getting lost. Astrid and the other soldiers began placing markers on the walls as they moved forward, ensuring they could retrace their steps if necessary. The labyrinth was eerily silent, each step echoing in the vast, empty corridors. Outside the stone door, the remaining members of the expedition team were frantically trying to reopen it. Sophia led the effort, her mind racing through possible solutions. Evans, Claire, any ideas on how to get this door open? Sophia examined the door, her sensors scanning for any weak points or mechanisms. It appears to be sealed from the inside. We'll need to find another way or wait for the team to open it from their side. As they worked, a figure watched them from a distance, hidden among the trees. Ryadan, a 25-year-old chi cultivator from the East District of the Laurentia Empire, observed the strangers with keen interest. Drawn by the unusual disturbances, he had been watching their every move. Ryadan was tall and lean, with piercing green eyes and long, dark hair tied back in a loose ponytail. He wore traditional Laurentian attire, which allowed for freedom of movement and indicated his status as a chi cultivator. He had sensed the strangers' arrival and their impact on the energy fields of his world. Curiosity and caution guided Ryadan as he watched the outsiders. He had heard tales of other worlds and the beings that inhabited them, but he had never seen them with his own eyes. These people were different, equipped with strange devices and possessing knowledge that seemed both advanced and primitive compared to his own. Inside the labyrinth, the team encountered various challenges. Some corridors were blocked by ancient mechanisms that required precise manipulation to bypass, while others contained traps that tested their reflexes and teamwork. More importantly, unknown creatures started to appear the closer they get to their destination. Each challenge brought them closer together, forging a bond of trust and camaraderie. Jin's technical skills proved invaluable as he deciphered ancient mechanisms and disabled traps. Felix and Jelani's scientific knowledge helped them understand the labyrinth's energy patterns, guiding their path. Captain Rudy's leadership kept them focused and determined, even in the face of uncertainty. The captain, along with his men, eliminated any creature that posed a threat to their safety. Fortunately, their weapons were enough to kill the creatures. As they ventured deeper into the labyrinth, the air grew colder, and the symbols on the walls began to glow more brightly. Even the small creatures were now being replaced by large and humanoid giants. After a series of encounters, they reached a central chamber, where a massive, ornate door loomed before them. Unlike the entrance, this door was covered in even more intricate carvings, pulsating with an otherworldly light. "This must be the exit," Felix said, examining the door. "But it's heavily secured. We'll need to figure out the mechanism to open it." Meanwhile, Ryadan, still observing from the shadows, felt a growing sense of urgency. These strangers were delving into places that were dangerous. This door is the entrance to a dungeon. A very old one at that. It's probably a C-rank dungeon. As the remaining team worked to unlock the door, they heard a soft rustling from the darkness behind them. They turned to see Ryadan step into the light, his hands raised in a gesture of peace. "Who are you?" Evans demanded, his hand instinctively reaching for his weapon. Ryadan spoke calmly, his voice resonating with authority and wisdom. "I am Ryadan, a local from the Laurentia Empire. I'm sure you can't understand what I'm saying, I only have one ring of clarity." Ryadan threw the ring towards Evans and waited for them to put it on. Unfortunately, Evans was an android and couldn't operate the ring like a normal human can. He eventually gave the ring to Robert, being one of the humans who was left behind. As Robert put on the ring, Ryadan spoke again, explaining what he was talking about earlier. Robert was surprised that he could now understand what Ryadan was saying. Now he understood the situation. After having a conversation with each other, the four androids had already deciphered Ryadan's native language, and so they too understood each other. While Jamal didn't bother with them and focused on the energy around them. He was sure that this energy was in fact mana from the legends. There was no other explanation other than that, as it is so abundant that even them can feel its existence. There is nothing we can do for now. Unless they clear the dungeon, the door will never open. I hope your teammates are capable enough, considering this is your first time encountering something like this. Robert assured Ryadan that his team was well prepared for any kind of situation and that they were all people with special skills and talent. Meanwhile, inside the dungeon, Rudy and his team continued to open the door inside the labyrinth. Chapter 5. Awakening the Guardians. The team finally managed to decipher the mechanisms of the ancient door. Jin's precise movements activated the final glyph, and with a deep rumble, the door slowly creaked open, revealing a vast chamber beyond. "Stay sharp, everyone," Captain Rudy commanded, his voice steady but laced with tension. "We don't know what lies ahead." The room beyond was vast and dimly lit, the only illumination coming from the bioluminescent symbols etched into the walls. Statues of unknown beings, each more imposing than the last, lined the perimeter of the room. At the center stood a giant figure, a deity resembling the gods of ancient mythology. Its eyes, inset with precious gems, seemed to follow their every move. Fascinating, Felix whispered, his eyes wide with awe. These statues must be centuries old. Let's keep moving, Astrid urged, her hand never straying far from her weapon. I don't like the feel of this place. As the team approached the center, examining the deity statue, the ancient door behind them slammed shut with a thunderous echo. The sudden noise sent a shiver down their spines. Stay alert! Captain Rudy barked. Something's not right. Suddenly, the giant statue began to glow, its stone surface cracking and trembling. The light intensified, and with a deafening roar, the statue started to move. Get ready! The captain warned. We might be in for a fight. The deity's eyes blazed with an otherworldly light, and one by one, the other statues began to animate, encircling the team. The room filled with the grinding noise of stone on stone as the ancient guardians prepared to defend their sacred domain. Astrid was the first to react, her reflexes honed from years of combat. She fired her plasma rifle at the nearest statue, the beam searing through stone and causing cracks to spiderweb across its surface. We need to focus fire on one at a time, she shouted. Taylor, wielding an energy blade, leapt towards another statue, slicing through its arm with a swift, precise motion. Sparks flew as the advanced tech clashed with ancient stone. These things are tough, but they can be broken. Ahmad and Issa, armed with pulse cannons, provided cover fire, their shots shattering the statue's limbs and sending debris flying. Keep pushing forward, Ahmad yelled over the din of battle. Jean and Felix worked in tandem, using their knowledge of the labyrinth's energy patterns to target weak points. Felix's EMP grenades disrupted the statue's movements, giving Jean the opening he needed to plant explosive charges. Charlotte and Jelani, using their survival skills and quick thinking, maneuvered through the chaos, setting traps, and leading the statues into them. Charlotte's voice cut through the noise, guiding the team and ensuring they stayed together. Georgia, the android, moved with mechanical precision, her synthetic muscles allowing her to wield heavy weaponry with ease. She targeted the statue's joints, methodically dismantling them piece by piece. Captain Rudy directed the battle, his commands keeping the team focused and coordinated. Georgia, cover the left flank. Jean, set those charges. Everyone else, keep them off balance. The deity statue, larger and more formidable than the rest, was the last to fall. It fought fiercely, its blows sending shockwaves through the room. But the team's combined efforts eventually brought it down. With a final, earth-shaking crash, the statue crumbled into rubble. Breathing heavily, the team regrouped, their weapons still at the ready. Is everyone alright? Captain Rudy asked, scanning his team for injuries. We're good, Captain, Taylor replied, wiping sweat from his brow. But what now? As if in answer, the ground beneath the deity statue began to tremble, revealing a hidden chest embedded in the floor. The ancient lock fell away, and the chest opened to reveal a gleaming artifact, pulsating with a soft, ethereal light. An artifact of the ancients, Felix whispered, his voice filled with wonder. This could be the key to understanding the energy fields of this world. As they retrieved the artifact, a circle of runes on the floor began to glow, forming a teleportation array. The team exchanged wary glances, but there was no other option. They stepped into the array, and with a flash of light, they were transported back to the entrance of the dungeon. The massive stone door that had sealed them in now opened automatically, a sign of their success. Captain Rudy turned to his team, a sense of pride evident in his eyes. We made it. And we have the artifact. Let's get back and see what we can learn from this. As they stepped into the sunlight, leaving the ancient dungeon behind, they knew their journey was far from over. The secrets of Tiamat awaited, and with the artifact in hand, they were one step closer to uncovering the mysteries of this new world. As the team emerged from the ancient dungeon, they were greeted by Ryden, who stood waiting patiently. Captain Rudy stepped forward, Robert beside him with the ring of clarity in hand. Ryden's keen eyes studied the newcomers with interest. Captain Rudy Jenkins, the captain introduced himself, extending a hand. Ryden clasped Rudy's hand firmly. Ryden of the Laurentian Empire, he replied. His voice was steady, carrying an aura of wisdom and strength. Robert, wearing the ring, spoke up. This ring allows us to understand your language. Let's share information and learn from each other. Ryden nodded. Very well. I am an adventurer from the Laurentian Empire, drawn here by the disturbances your arrival caused. I was on a mission from the Adventurers Guild to explore this part of the wilderness. Ryden gestured around them. Tiamat is a world rich in diversity. It is home to 5 major races: humans, elves, dwarves, demi-humans, and monsters. The Laurentian Empire, where I come from, is one of the 5 human kingdoms. We are situated in the east, and our empire is split into 5 regions: north, east, south, west, and the central kingdom. He continued, the elves have 3 kingdoms, the wood elves in the west, the dark elves in the south, and the high elves in the north. The dwarves have 2 kingdoms, both located in the mountainous regions. The demi-humans, or beast men, do not have kingdoms but live in small settlements scattered across Tiamat. Monsters, on the other hand, dwell in the wilderness and inside dungeons. Captain Rudy listened intently, absorbing the wealth of information. Your world is incredibly complex and fascinating. How does your society function, especially with so many different races and kingdoms? Ryodan smiled. It is indeed a complex world. Our society is heavily influenced by chi and mana energy. Chi practitioners like myself harness spiritual and physical energy to cultivate strength. This practice is integral to our culture. Mana, on the other hand, is a magical energy that powers spells and enchantments. He paused, letting the information sink in before continuing. Adventurers in Tiamat fall into 3 major classes: warriors, mages, and cultivators. Warriors can advance into master swordsmen, master warriors, or dual blade masters. Mages can become wizards, alchemists, or druids. Cultivators focus on either spiritual or body cultivation, though I am unique in that I practice both. Jelani, intrigued by the concept, asked, "Can you tell us more about the cultivators and how they harness their abilities?" Ryodan nodded. Spiritual cultivation involves refining one's inner energy or chi. It enhances mental faculties, perception, and control over energy. Body cultivation strengthens the physical form, increasing resilience, speed, and power. By combining both, a cultivator can achieve a balance of strength and wisdom, making them formidable in both combat and strategy. Felix leaned forward, fascinated. And what about the Adventurers Guild you mentioned? The Adventurers Guild is a cornerstone of our society, Ryodan explained. It assigns missions, offers training, and acts as a mediator between adventurers and the kingdoms. It helps maintain peace and order, ensuring that the diverse races and regions of Tiamat work together harmoniously. Captain Rudy considered this. This exchange of information is invaluable. Perhaps we can find ways to cooperate and learn from each other. Our technology combined with your understanding of chi and mana could lead to incredible advancements. Ryodan agreed. Indeed, there is much we can learn from each other. Your arrival here is unprecedented, and it opens up many possibilities for both our worlds. As they spoke, the atmosphere was charged with potential and curiosity. The merging of their knowledge and cultures promised a future filled with new discoveries and collaborations, bridging the gap between Tiamat and the surface world.
Chapter 6. Worlds Apart, Worlds Together. Captain Rudy took a deep breath, preparing to explain the vast differences between their worlds. Ryodan listened intently, his eyes reflecting a mix of curiosity and skepticism. Our world, which we call Earth, is quite different from Tiamat, Captain Rudy began. We arrived here using a device called the World Piercer, crafted from a rare and powerful metal known as adamantium. It's a long story, but let me start from the beginning. He continued, many years ago, a massive meteor struck Earth, causing widespread devastation. This catastrophe wiped out a significant portion of our population and left our world in ruins. However, from that meteor, we discovered a precious resource, adamantium. Ryodan's eyes widened. Adamantium? I've heard legends of such a metal, but to think it exists in your world. Captain Rudy nodded. Yes, it does. The survivors of the impact had to unify to rebuild society. We mined the meteor and extracted the adamantium, using it to advance our technology and infrastructure. This period of unity and cooperation was crucial for our survival. Jean, the team's technician, added, with adamantium, we were able to develop incredible technologies. One of the most significant advancements was the World Piercer, which allowed us to drill our way here from the surface world to the subterranean world Tiamat. That's how we came here, Rudy continued. On Earth, there is only one race, the human race. Stories of elves, dwarves, and even mana were considered myths and legends, found only in ancient books and fairy tales. Ryodan seemed intrigued. No mana? But how do you power your technology? Our technology is based on principles of quantum mechanics and nuclear fusion, Rudy explained. We don't use mana. Instead, we harness the power of the atom and manipulate subatomic particles. This has allowed us to create advanced machinery and even androids. Ryodan glanced at Georgia, the team's android. These androids, they are not real humans, correct? They resemble something akin to our golems, which are powered by mana cores. Georgia stepped forward, her synthetic eyes meeting Ryodan's. I am an android, a machine made using advanced technology. My mind is a quantum computer, capable of processing information at incredible speeds. Unlike golems, which are simple constructs, I am sentient and have my own personality.
Ryodan looked amazed.
Incredible! So you are more like a homunculus than a golem. Sentient, with your own thoughts and feelings. This is far beyond anything we have in Tiamat. Jelani, the biochemist, smiled. Our advancements have allowed us to create machines that can think, learn, and even express emotions. This is part of what makes our world unique. But we also have much to learn from Tiamat, especially your understanding of chi and mana. Ryodan nodded thoughtfully. It seems we have much to offer each other. Your technology and our cultivation practices could lead to extraordinary developments. I look forward to seeing what we can achieve together. Captain Rudy extended his hand once more. Agreed. Let's work together to bridge the gap between our worlds. Ryodan shook his hand firmly. To new alliances and discoveries. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the ancient dungeon, the two leaders stood together, united by a shared vision of cooperation and exploration. The future held endless possibilities, with the combined knowledge of Earth and Tiamat promising to reshape both worlds in ways neither could have imagined. Underground base in New York. In a highly secure underground base beneath New York, 7 representatives of the UWG gathered around a large screen. The screen displayed a live feed from Captain Rudy's team in Tiamat, showing their encounters and conversations with Ryodan. Henry McLaren, the lead representative, initiated the discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, as you've seen, the conversation between Captain Rudy and Ryodan has revealed profound implications for our world. The existence of Tiamat, its advanced mana-based technology, and the various races and classes of adventurers offer us unprecedented opportunities. Dr. Rose Lawrence leaned forward. The application of mana-based technology could revolutionize our current advancements in quantum mechanics and nuclear fusion. Imagine androids like Georgia being powered by mana, enhancing their capabilities beyond our current understanding. Xiao Yin nodded. And the knowledge about dungeons and ancient relics could open new frontiers for research and development. We need to establish a diplomatic relationship with Ryodan's people to explore these possibilities further. Akimisker added, understanding the cultural and historical context of Tiamat is equally important. The different races and their unique abilities can provide insights into our own past myths and legends. Jack William raised a point. While the potential is immense, we must proceed with caution. The strategic implications of these discoveries could disrupt the balance of power. We need to ensure that our exploration and cooperation are conducted under strict regulations. Jabari Amari, representing economic interests, spoke up. The adventurers' classes and their potential roles in our society can provide new avenues for economic growth. Training programs and partnerships could lead to a surge in skilled individuals, contributing to various sectors. Akim emphasized the importance of cultural exchange. Building trust and understanding with the people of Tiamat will be crucial. We must respect their traditions and knowledge while introducing our own advancements. Henry McLaren summarized their thoughts. Our next steps should include establishing a formal diplomatic mission to the Laurentian Empire, with Ryodan as our liaison. We need to gather more information about their mana technology and explore potential collaborations. The discovery of different races and ancient technology is just the beginning. We must approach this new frontier with both excitement and caution. The representatives agreed, and plans were set in motion to formalize their diplomatic outreach to Tiamat, paving the way for a new era of cooperation and discovery. The throne room of the Laurentian Empire. The throne room of the Laurentian Empire was an impressive blend of ancient grandeur and modern refinement. Massive stone columns lined the hall, each intricately carved with scenes from the Empire's storied past. The floor was a mosaic of polished marble, reflecting the soft light of the chandeliers that hung from the vaulted ceiling. Tapestries depicting historical battles and significant events adorned the walls, adding a touch of color and warmth to the otherwise austere room. At the far end of the hall sat King Dacius de Corvain, his regal presence commanding the room. He was a tall, imposing figure with a stern yet fair demeanor. His dark hair was streaked with silver, and his piercing blue eyes conveyed both wisdom and authority. Beside him, Queen Sasha de Corvain exuded grace and strength. Her auburn hair was elegantly styled, and her green eyes were sharp and intelligent. She wore a flowing gown that spoke of her royal status, yet her expression was one of cautious curiosity. A messenger, dressed in the colors of the royal house, entered the throne room and bowed deeply before the king and queen. "Your Majesties," he began, "I bring urgent news. Strangers have arrived in our land, and they are currently in contact with one of our adventurers, Ryadan. They claim to come from the surface world." King Dacius leaned forward, his interest piqued. "Strangers from the surface world, you say? This is most unusual. Tell me more." The messenger continued, "They possess no knowledge of mana, and have expressed a desire to establish diplomatic relations with our empire. Ryadan is currently with them, assessing their intentions." Queen Sasha exchanged a concerned glance with her husband. "No knowledge of mana? How can that be? This raises many questions about their origins and their intentions." King Dacius nodded thoughtfully. "Indeed it does. We cannot ignore this. Assemble a group of escort knights immediately. They will receive our guests and bring them here under protection." At the king's command, a nearby guard saluted and hurried out of the throne room to relay the orders to the captain of the knights. As the guard left, Queen Sasha voiced her skepticism. "My lord, while this could be an opportunity, it also poses a significant risk. Strangers with unknown origins and no understanding of our most fundamental energy source. We must tread carefully." King Dacius sighed, sharing her concerns. "I agree, my love. We will proceed with caution. But we must also show them the hospitality of the Laurentian Empire. Their arrival could herald a new era for us, or it could bring unforeseen dangers. We must be prepared for both." Minutes later, the captain of the knights, a burly man with a stern face and a scar across his cheek, entered the throne room and bowed before the king and queen. "Your Majesties, I have assembled the knights as ordered. We are ready to escort the guests." King Dacius stood, his royal mantle flowing behind him as he descended the steps of the throne. "Very well, Captain. Ensure their safety and bring them here without delay. We shall see what these strangers have to offer." The captain saluted once more before departing to carry out his orders. As he left, Queen Sasha turned to her husband, her expression still one of concern. "Let us hope that this decision brings us closer to understanding these strangers and the surface world." King Dacius placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We shall find out soon enough. For now, let us prepare to welcome our guests with the dignity and respect they deserve." As the royal couple awaited the arrival of the strangers, the air in the throne room was thick with anticipation. The fate of both worlds now hung in the balance, and the choices made in the coming hours would shape the future of the Laurentian Empire and beyond.